go. All right. Hey, it's Len at EcomFire. Just hanging out outside today. It's, hey, B50, Brian Smith, what's up? What's going on? Just chilling out. Another gorgeous day here in California. I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas yet. It's 12 o'clock, midday, lunchtime. Benefits of owning your own business, I suppose, especially online. But today was going to go through some items here about niche selection. So over the last week, we've been talking a lot about starting your own business online using the drop shipping method, where you put together a website, contact suppliers, and sell products on a drop shipping basis. So basically what that means is you don't inventory anything, you don't warehouse anything, you just do the marketing and the advertising, and you're kind of like a middleman. But in order to get started, you have to pick a niche, some products, something that you want to sell, etc. So, like I said, I got this this list of stuff that I put together as far as niche selection goes, and we'll start with a couple of start with the first important items. Oh, Brian Smith is back. Good to have you back, Brian. So we're going to start with one of the first criteria, I guess we call it the checklist, if you will, is to try to avoid personal items, things that would have, I guess I would call them things that have a lot to do with size and style. Think of things like clothes or shoes or bedding, items that would be really particular to a person, that if they got them and they bought them and they tried them, they might not like the feel, they might not like the texture, might not like the color, something like that. So you generally want to avoid things that are personal in nature. Shoes, like I mentioned, that's something that's definitely huge. I mean, Zappos is an amazing company, but I don't think I would want to sell shoes because you can't compete with something like that. Besides, you know, I've bought shoes on Zappos, and you have to try them on and wear them around the house. My girlfriend, sometimes she literally orders 10 pairs of shoes to try them all on to find out which one she wants to keep. So, you know, that involves a lot of extra customer support and a lot more returns. So that's kind of why we try to avoid personal items. The second item on the checklist is basically trying to pick something that is that would be a generic category, something that's not dominated by a big brand. Okay, so if Sony is selling something in the space, or Apple or Nike, those are the kinds of products you most likely want to avoid, because there's just absolutely no way that you can compete with a behemoth like that. You know, you're not gonna go and create a soda drink and try and compete with Coke and Pepsi, right? So you generally want to avoid products that are dominated by big brands for this exact reason. I mean, and like, I have a couple of examples here. Who cares what brand of barbecue grill they generally buy? Especially, who cares what brand of fire pit? Most people don't care what brand of stand-up paddleboard. So these are kinds of topics, kind of products that are generic in nature, that you could sell online, that you wouldn't be competing with big brands. I was in one niche where I was competing with Bose, and I had to close that store down because they were spending $7,000-8,000 a month on advertising on Google, and as a new business, I can't compete with that. The next item on my checklist is to try and niche down as deep as possible. So you don't want to sell everything. In business, in general, you don't want to be something to everybody, because then you'll be nothing to anyone. So, you know, the whole "we have something for everyone" moniker, I really hate that. I think that means that you have too much selection, you don't know who your customer is, and you have too many things to offer. And when the customer comes to your store, they don't know what the hell to buy. Okay, there's just too many options. So when we're talking about these drop shipping stores, we're niching down as far as possible, because the more niche we are, the more targeted we are, and the more likely the customer searching for that product or that category is going to be coming to our site and purchasing the item that we're actually selling. So niching down to something, instead of luggage, you would sell specifically leather totes, or travel backpacks, or something of that nature. you wouldn't sell animal cages, you would sell specifically dog cages. You would sell something like, you would set up an entire store just selling pressure washers. Okay, so you're not going to sell everything under the sun like Walmart. You're going to find one particular niche, one particular category of product. You're going to sell that, and you're going to dominate that. The other item on another, not the other, there's a couple more, but another important item here is to focus on products that are within the $200 to $1,000 range, if and only if you don't want to deal with too much pre-sales customer support. If you're in sales, if you're comfortable on the phone, if you're comfortable selling, you don't care about interacting with customers and dealing with sales questions, then you can find products that are over $1,000. The general rule of thumb is most people are pretty comfortable buying online between the $200 and $1,000 mark, and don't necessarily need a lot of hand-holding. When you start to get to premium products, there's a lot more trust involved. People want to know that you're a real business, a real person. And so if you're selling products or items that are over that $1,000 threshold, just be aware that you're going to have a lot more customer support to deal with, a lot more pre-sales questions. So those are sort of your two categories of products, between 200 and 1,000 if you want to minimize your interaction with customers, or over 1,000 if you don't mind answering more questions. The another thing is, what do I have here? Right, okay, so there's items that you're going to be selling online that you want to be able to make sure that your audience has disposable income. Again, like I was talking about with pressure washers, or the other one with stand-up paddleboarding, hobby items, things around the house, activities that you like to go out and do, things that you would use around the house. People with disposable income have more money to spend online, so, or just in general. So if you focus your categories of products around those types of things, you'll do a lot better. The idea with our model of drop shipping, the model taught by Anton in Dropship Lifestyle, is not to sell cheap products with small profits, because you have to sell extremely high volume of those products to make a livable income. The idea instead is to find items that are more expensive, that you most likely will make more profit on, and you'll end up selling less of them, but at the end of the day, generally making more money as a whole, just because the items are more expensive and the profits are better. I mean, this one particular niche I'm in right now has 40% profit margins, and some of these things are over $1,000. So, you know, you're looking at big profits when you can push a lot of product out the door at a higher price point. There's two tips that come directly from myself and from Clint. Clint likes, he might even talk about this in his video today, but Clint really likes products that have as little moving parts as possible. Therefore, there's less customer support when things break, there's less returns, there's just less things to support. If the item doesn't have a bunch of moving parts, it's just that much easier to be durable and last longer, right? The item that I like to focus on is stuff that's small enough to fit in a flat rate shipping box. I'm actually in a niche right now where the products are huge and they have freight. They have to be shipped by freight. And I never know, two things I never know: how much the freight is going to cost and how much my profit is going to be. Because if it's going one state over and freight's only $50, then I make more profit. If it's going from coast to coast and shipping is $200, then I make a lot less profit. And sometimes I worry about selling an item to a customer that I don't have any profit, I can't make any profit on, that I'm like actually going to lose money on a sale, and that's a big concern when you're selling large items. So out of my experience, I try to coach people and find products that are small enough to fit in a flat rate box. You know, in the United States, the USPS, if it fits, it ships. It's like $6 to usually about $13 for various size flat rate shipping boxes. You just send that off, and you know that you're never going to spend more than $13 on your shipping. So that's a really nice added benefit. There's some other things that a lot of people try and, I don't want to say game the system, but they try and they basically research to death They go on eBay, they go on Amazon, they go on Google keyword, look at the Google keywords and Google Trends, and they try and find all these little things, these little bits of data that they can attempt to correlate to show that the niche that they're picking is going to be perfect. Well, I got news for you. There is no such thing as a perfect niche, okay? I've built 5 stores and made sales out of 4 of those. That 5th store was my own fault, my own screw up, and I did the research wrong, and it turns out there was no drop shipping suppliers in that niche, and that was my fault, right? But too many people try and spend a lot of time analyzing to death, analyzing the shit out of a niche to try and figure out if it's going to be profitable. And I've tried this, and I have tried just about every trick in the book, from calling suppliers before setting up a store, from pretending like I'm already in business, to doing all this keyword research. And at the end of the day, it didn't make a difference. I was in businesses that were no better off than the other ones. So B50s, finding small items that are under 1,000K seems tough. No, not particularly. I have, just in my research, my niche research, I've not gone to great extent to validate the niches, but there are plenty of things that are below $1,000. This is kind of funny. I've looked at some stuff that, even though we talked about trying to find things that have no moving parts, some people don't like to sell electronics because there's a lot of support. I found a lot of things that are in the electronics category that fit in the smallest flat rate shipping box, and boom, it's gone, it's out. So there are definitely a lot of ways to find products that would fit in a small flat rate shipping box. So thanks for asking that question. Just look around your house. Look at stuff that you own. Look at, you're welcome. Look at stuff that you own. Look at, one of the greatest things is when you're just out during your daily activities, you go to the store for groceries, you go to the store, go shopping. Just look around. Niche ideas are everywhere. And when you start to keep some of these categories, these things, these checklist items in your mind as you're out shopping, you can start to focus and narrow and laser in on what might be better as far as one product over the other. So, like I said, don't research the shit out of a niche, because at the end of the day, it's really not going to make a difference. In fact, Clint and Ben are 2 guys who basically are under the pretext that if it's already selling online, then it's a good product to be sold as a drop ship product. So as far as that goes, that's pretty much all I have to say today. It was good chatting with you. Thanks for the questions, and tune in to tomorrow for another day of content from EcomFire. And before you leave today, don't forget to go to EcomFire.com and get your free ebook that we have, our 279-page ebook that talks about niche selection and building WordPress sites, autoresponder sequences, and the likes. And also, while you're over there, make sure to subscribe to our Twitter feed, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. We're everywhere, and every day we're online sharing content, tips, and tricks to help you start and grow your own online business. So once again, this is Len. Have a fantastic day. Go out there and crush it. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk again another day. Anybody have any last questions before I head out here? Anybody? Bueller? No? All right. Peace out. We'll talk to you another day. See you now.